right, so we could start off just with an introduction. You want to tell us who you are and what you do?
Okay, my name is Tyler Lenaz, and I'm an artist from New Jersey, and I'm currently a student at the Joe Kuber School, and I'm graduating real soon, and I'm a comic book artist and illustrator, and yeah.
You just flipped yourself on me.
Did I? Wait, what happened? I'm sorry. 'Cause I realized that my screen was like kind of big, so then is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Okay, so I wrote down some questions. We're going to start off with your preferred method of working. You say you like to do illustration and comic art. Are you like a digital artist or a traditional artist?
I think I'm probably more comfortable working digital, but it's kind of like I kind of wish I was a full-on traditional artist, but digital, it's just like the convenience to like manipulate your work like so drastically, like halfway through, it's kind of a nice way of like not fully committing to something, you know, if you change your mind, which I often do. Because that's something that always frustrates me about working traditionally is I can't make if I want to like move a character over like an inch down, you know, like it's a pain in the neck if you're drawing it or inking it traditionally, but digital. But I do work traditionally as well. And ironically, I feel like I like my work better when it's traditional. But I don't know. So I do both. I like to work on my iPad. I have an iPad Pro. And like I think this thing is like probably the best like digital artist tool you can get, you know, like it being portable. And it's expensive, but like I really can't see myself without this thing, you know.
Yeah, I use my iPad a lot too, and it is so convenient to be able to like resize and to like scale the different things. It's you know, like it takes so much longer to do it traditionally. You know?
Yeah.
And it dirties up your page too, and you just, like...
That too. I'm sorry. But yeah, I like working traditionally too, because obviously you have the original work to sell. Like that's really the main thing that I feel like I'm missing out on when I work digital is like I don't have like that original art, you know, for like the aftermarket.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how so many artists are doing it these days, because I know like a ton of comic book artists like work completely digital, and I guess they're just like completely forgoing that source of income, you know. And it's not that I haven't really sold any like crazy originals, but like I've sold like, you know, a couple little commissions here and there, and man, you know, people will pay for original art.
Definitely. Yeah, I don't know. I know some people like will sell like special prints that are supposed to be, you know, originals of, you know, digital art. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, like mono prints or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like as a fan myself, I don't really see a whole lot of value in that, because I don't really see how that's any better than like a print, you know. But you know, like if people like that, that's cool too. If there's I think like the idea is that they'll only do like one of them. They'll print out like a high quality, like big print of a page or something, and then it's a one-off, and then they get it signed or something. It is cool, but it's definitely not the same thing as like an actual like, you know, penciled and ink page,
right?
For sure. But people are also weird about like penciled and ink pages, because you know a lot of people now just like print out blue line. And then ink on top of that. But I think like a lot of people don't like that it's like inked on top of blue line. They want it to be penciled, you know, but like you don't actually see the pencils after you like ink it and then erase the pencils. So I don't know, collectors are funny like that. And you know, I kind of get it myself. Like I think I would prefer it if I was like buying a page and it was like traditionally penciled and then like traditionally inked. versus like over Blue Line. So I can't be mad about it.
Yeah. Yeah, I've done that too, where you just like, you'll take something like the iPad and do like a rough digitally and then print it out and ink over that or lightbox over it.
Yeah,
it really,
I've worked that way a lot as well.
Yeah, it streamlines the process, but I guess not everyone wants to buy that.
Yeah, but I mean, I think like with so many people working like completely digital, it's better than nothing,
Yeah.
So hopefully one day I'll have like enough. So one of my favorite artists, he's this guy Jorge Menez. He's like the main Batman artist right now. He works all digital, and recently, I guess not too recently, but last year he did a Superman cover, and he said it was like the first piece of art he ever did traditionally, like in his whole career so far, which I thought was crazy,
Yeah.
And because he has so few, like he only has like literally the one cover that he did traditionally, I can't imagine how much that sold for, Like how rare that cover is.
Yeah, ridiculous.
So in a weird way, you almost kind of like, by creating that like scarcity, I think you can kind of create a demand.
Yeah, it's more valuable, but you're only getting the one-time payment. Whereas
I guess,
yeah, was it really more money in the long run? Like, had he made all those pages and been like the top-selling Batman guy and sold all of them, he probably would have made money than making it scarce and only selling one page.
Yeah, that's true.
So I also wanted to ask you about Ghoul. I know you did.
Yeah.
You did the cover of the new issue, and I'm gonna have Jesse and River on pretty soon. We're in talks.
Oh, nice.
We're doing another interview. So can you tell us about your Ghoul cover?
Yeah. So Ghoul is a comic scene created by Jesse and River, which I thought was a great idea because in the school we have the Cuber Chronicle, which is more of like a comic like pop culture magazine, and there's like articles and reviews and stuff like that, but not a lot of like printed artwork and comic pages. And Ghoul Zine is like just purely comics, and that was always something that like I wanted to see. So I'm glad that like they stepped up and like created it. And for issue 1, I wish I had created more of like comic stories for the zine so far, because I've been contributing to each one, but it's just been like illustrations and pinups. But I was lucky enough to do the cover for issue 3. So it was manga and anime themed, this new book. So I basically just looked at all of the Shonen Jump magazine covers, and a lot of them are just like montage or collage kind of compositions, with just like a ton of characters on them. And I thought it'd be fun to just kind of take it as an opportunity to draw like all my favorite like manga and anime characters from like my childhood. And I think it turned out pretty good. I spent like a lot of time on it when I was, because like we just got on vacation, our winter vacation, so I had like way more free time than I normally would. So I put like a solid like 3 days into it, and I had a lot of fun doing it. So I hope it prints well, because I added a lot of like gray tones, and they're printing it on just like, they always print the covers on just like a colored like cardstock or like colored paper, and they're using red for the new ones. So I'm a little bit nervous that it's going to be like too dark. But
yeah, they did go with a dark color. Yeah, I saw the rough, but yeah, it looks really good. Your cover.
Yeah, Jesse was just showing me. He was showing me yesterday. He's doing like the post, because they always do like an insert poster, and he's doing like an Evangelion, Neon Genesis Evangelion, like poster pinup piece, and that's gonna be sick. Like he's got a lot of work to do on that. It's a ton of characters on that thing. But yeah, it's a really cool zine. Like I'm really happy to be like a part of any like indie zine or something. because that was something like I really was not at all aware of before like entering the school. Like I didn't even know what a zine was, and here I am like doing the cover, you know. So definitely come a long way.
Okay, so we talked about drawing Spawn because they're having this competition coming up for like fans to draw the Spawn cover. I'm sketching Spawn right now, and I have no idea what this guy looks like. I'm trying to draw Spawn from memory, and he has like a V on his chest or an M or...
Yeah, it's like, it's kind of an M, I guess. There's a few different designs you can go with. One of them has like more red on like the inside of like his side area, and then like the Greco-Pulo is just like the black skin suit with like the white stripes. But I'm surprised you've never drawn Spawn before. Are you not? You've never read any Spawn comics?
No.
Wow, how come?
I don't know. I was never drawn to it, you know, and you know, I haven't heard necessarily good things about like the writing. I heard it's kind of weak, but you know, I was much more into like Savage Dragon, which you know that. Like,
I think because honestly, I've never read any Spawn comics either, but I did watch the HBO animated show. And that show is fantastic. Like they do, I don't know like how close it is to the comics. I'm sure they enhance a lot of the writing. But that show is like really good. The animation's really good, and the story's really interesting. It's a lot of like they use a lot of black shapes, which is like interesting for animation because I feel like you don't see that very often.
right.
And it's like super noir-y and it's really well done. So that's kind of like my connection to Spawn, and I think he's just like one of those characters that like just looks cool. So he's kind of just like fun to draw. Like I'm a fan of Spawn without ever reading any Spawn comics.
Right. I feel like
which I you know, there's probably a lot of people that have that same
right
kind of experience.
that it's just he looks cool. His whole like, you know, satanic aesthetic. You know, it's all demons and fire and guns and bats and that sort of stuff, like heavy metal, you know, visuals.
Yeah, he's
you know
like
what I'm talking
super
about?
like edgy. You know?
Yeah. Oh, it's 90s edge. Yeah. I'm just putting spikes everywhere. Just wherever I don't know, like a piece of his costume, there's just gonna be some spikes there. I feel like that's
Honestly,
a safe bet.
You can't add too many spikes on Spawn.
Todd's like, spikes are cool. Kids love capes. Oh, chains.
Yeah.
Chains is a huge part. I can't believe I haven't put any chains on this guy yet.
Yeah, you gotta have the chains in there. He has like, and also the cape is so crazy. You can kind of just like do anything you want with the cape and it works. It's like impossible to draw it incorrectly.
Yeah, because it's like alive, right? Shape shift.
Yeah, the whole costume's alive. It's kind of, I mean, he's kind of like the Venom symbiote. That's probably not like a novel comparison, but like,
right.
He is very similar to Venom in that way.
Because
he's like head to toe black, and then
the big white eyes. Yeah,
the white eyes.
Well, it's like Todd made Venom too, so
right.
It was like this is Venom 2.0. He's a good guy now.
But I think he like created Spawn before, like way before that. Like when he was, I think he created Spawn when he was like a teenager or something, or like I think I've seen drawings when he was like a young teenager, and the design like looks almost exactly the same, if not exactly the same. So maybe the chicken came before the egg, like the Spawn eyes came before like the Venom eyes.
Yeah. So he was doing Spider-Man, and he's just like, let me stick a Spawn guy in here, but he's a spider, you know.
Yeah.
I love
the Spawn villains are scary too.
Oh yeah. Villains? I've seen some of them, like the Violator.
Yeah.
What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, the Venom. I love the logo, how it like goes off the legs, like wrap around his sides.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Which the Spawn costume kind of has.
Kind of has the same thing, yeah.
Yeah. Which is funny, like, you know, I guess, you know, you like what you like design wise, and it works. It's a cool design. Like, I don't think anyone could argue that.
Spawn's been a part of a lot of crossovers. Has he ever met Venom before?
Oh, I don't know. I don't think so. I mean, Spawn has met Batman. They just did another Batman Spawn crossover. But that's funny. Have you ever seen the McFarlane Miller collaboration cover with the two moons?
The two moons? Yeah, I've seen that. That's hilarious.
I think McFarlane was on Cartoons Kayfabe again recently, and they asked him, or like Ed Piskor asked him about that, and his explanation was that Frank Miller got the cover first, and then like did the Batman, and like took up like just so much room with the Batman. Like I think McFarlane said that he like hogged the cover, so he's like, I gotta find a way to add the Spawn, but then like, so he had it last.
Yeah,
you know, he had the cover, so it was his fault that that there was two moons, because you know he was the last person to take a pass on it. Which, you know, I mean, it's funny, but
I mean they both wanted to draw a moon. They both like were not paying attention to the other guy, and they were just like, oh, let me draw a moon here.
It's a fast-paced industry. Yes. And I love McFarlane. Like he has and maybe that's another reason why Spawn is so popular, because a lot of people just love McFarlane, you know?
Right.
Like, he really is, like, a huge, like, just a huge inspiration for me. Just, you know, like, the way he talks about, like, the grind of being, like, an artist, and kind of like that never give up attitude. Like, you know, a lot of people have probably seen those videos that they did with, like, Stan Lee. Mm-hmm. And, you know, I remember watching those, like, pretty young, finding them on YouTube, and being, like, really inspired by all that. And he's just, like, an interesting guy. I wonder if he's... I would have to guess Jim Lee is the most, you know, rich image founder. But, like, Todd's got to be number 2. Or, I don't know, maybe he's number 1, because he has, like, you know, his whole toy company, too.
Yeah, he diversified.
Yeah. No, he's a really savvy business person. And I like his toys. I'm looking at my shelf. I have, like, a couple of his, like, DC action figures.
Well, you know, he bought like a baseball team, didn't he? Like, when he was young? Like, when he
I think so.
blew up?
I think he was, like, I think he almost was a professional baseball player.
Yeah.
Before... And, you know, it's funny. So, I was hanging out, when I was at my girlfriend's parents' house. I was spending time with her brother, and he's a huge hockey fan. And we were talking about, like, hockey jerseys, and I was kind of like... I was like, because I don't know anything about hockey, and I was like looking at all the teams and looking at all the jerseys, and like we were just kind of like rating our favorite like logos and like color schemes and stuff. And there was one that I thought was really cool, and he's like, "Oh yeah, that one was drawn by like a comic book artist," and he's like, "Yeah, this guy like Todd McFarlane." I was like, of course it was Todd McFarlane.
And of course you pick it out. You pick it out as like, oh, that's my favorite.
Yeah. Which is, that's cool too. There's not a lot of like comic people that are also like, that also have like a foot into like sports too. So that's always interesting when you find.
Yeah, and he also did that famous album cover for Korn.
Right. Is that with Greg Capullo too?
I don't know.
Is it like a little kid?
Doing the hopscotch, doing the hopscotch,
yeah,
and then
I think Greg Capullo drew that, and Todd McFarlane inked it or something.
Okay.
But yeah, no, I know what you mean. That is a cool collab. Yeah, he's an interesting guy. I'd definitely like to meet him one day, and I hope I win this. It's a tough competition, but I'm gonna give it my all on this like Spawn cover.
Yeah, my drawing that I'm doing right now, it's definitely not winning any competitions. All my drawings that I do on this channel for like the interviews, they never come out any good. Because I'm talking,
Yeah.
I'm filming, I'm talking, I'm drawing. You know, I can't
actually liked your
focus.
She-Hulk.
Oh, you did?
You drew that on camera, right?
No, I drew that off camera, and I gave that to Nasira. Nasira colored it on camera.
Okay.
I was drawing like the alien thing when I was talking to her, and yeah, I kind of
Yeah, I'm like recording myself right now with this, like inking the Spawn, but like I'm just like poking at it. Like I'm not actually getting anything done on it. So I hate to tell you, this footage is not going to be useful at all. But yeah, I might even just like take a break from drawing for a minute.
Oh yeah, go ahead. You don't feel like you need to. You have to draw. Oh, my last thing I was gonna ask you, if you could assemble a dream team to work with. So like you're gonna be on the team. Who are your collaborators? You get to choose anybody.
Oh my god. Okay, I think in
First,
terms of like writer.
Yeah, like what role are you gonna put yourself in?
Okay, well, like assuming I'm gonna be like the penciler, I'd say like the writer I probably most want to work with is Robert Kurtman.
Okay.
Because I don't think there's a better writer, you know, today. Invincible and The Walking Dead are like two of my favorite comic books, and I haven't checked out his. I know he has a bunch of other books. Firepower by I think was it who's the artist? Chris Samney? Is that how you pronounce it? Yeah. He's amazing. Like that dude is one of the great like Batman artists of today, and like I don't think he's ever actually drawn a Batman story. Maybe he's done like short stories, but they need to give him like I would read like a whole run with him drawing. Like you gotta check out his Instagram.
For I am. I'm subscribed.
You know his work?
Yeah.
Yeah, like man, it's so good. Like the storytelling in his compositions are so good. Like man, it's so smart. I hate that when artists are like not only good at drawing but like really clever. You know, like I'm always striving for that, but just it's so hard. It's so hard to come up with like the idea. Probably harder than like the actual drawing portion.
Right.
But yeah, probably to answer your question, Robert Kurtman. Inks would maybe, I don't know, Todd McFarlane inks. Have you ever seen the way Todd McFarlane inks someone else? No. It's so funny. Like, it turns into a Todd McFarlane drawing. Like, one time on Instagram, he was, like, inking a page from Spawn or something, and he showed, like, what the pencils looked like and then what his inks looked like, and he totally redrew the face. I just thought that was so funny. But no, I mean, his inks are iconic. And then colors, FCO, who is a regular collaborator with Greg Capullo, and a lot of great artists. And his colors are amazing. They always blow me away. I think he colored a lot of Invincible too. And Invincible has like insane colors over Ryan Otley. So yeah, that'd be cool. What about you? Who would be your dream collaboration team?
Man, I hadn't thought about this. Do I have to pick people who are still alive?
I mean, I was assuming so. I guess you don't.
I mean, since this is a fantasy draft.
I was taking it like people currently, but if you want to go, dead people too, that's fine.
I might pick
totally different answer for
yeah. I might pick like if I'm picking someone alive, I might pick like a Neil Gaiman or somebody.
Yeah, that's a good pick.
Alan Moore is retired, and his scripts I've heard are nightmares.
I thought Alan Moore, but yeah, I don't know. I don't think I handled the Alan Moore script.
Let's see. I guess I would put myself as a penciler, and then actually, if I could just ink, I would just ink somebody.
Really?
Yeah.
What would you want to ink? I was thinking to myself, if I had anyone to ink me from like anyone in history, definitely Bernie Wrightson.
Okay. Maybe I would ink Frank Miller.
Oh, that's a good pick.
Yeah. So it would be
He'd
like
fun to ink.
it would be a very weird collaboration between Neil Gaiman and Frank Miller. Have they ever worked together?
Has that never happened? That's surprising. That would be cool. Although I feel like they clash somehow, but it would make a really interesting comic.
Yeah.
Like if Frank Miller drew like a Sandman issue,
Mm-hmm.
I think that'd be actually really cool. All black and white issue,
Yeah. And
like
then
Sin City style.
I'll pick. I've been reading a lot of like the Sergio Aragones books with with Tom Luth coloring. So I'll take Tom Luth as my colorist, and yeah, I think that fills out the team.
Okay, I'll go with okay, Bernie Wrightson inking and Mobius coloring.
Okay, cool.
Crazy bug.
Yeah, I don't know how Neil Gaiman and Frank Miller would get along, so maybe maybe that wouldn't last very long.
Yeah, we know how it went with McFarlane and Gaiman, so
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I might have told you this before, but I met Frank Miller like 2 years ago.
Yeah,
It was
yeah,
really
you
cool.
did tell me.
It was fun meeting Frank Miller. Like he's such a sweet guy. Like I don't know. I was expecting him to be kind of like a cranky old, like a little bit mean kind of guy.
Because
just
of
from,
his
like,
comics.
Yeah, he wasn't like that at all. He was so sweet. Like he was just like a really friendly guy. And he was just like, people were just like asking him questions, just like really nerdy questions, like, oh, like how did Elektra survive this? And he's like, oh, I don't know. I was just trying to tell a good story. Like, that was his
He's
answer.
like,
I
he
was
does
like,
not
oh.
remember.
Doesn't know, yeah. And he was just so nice, you know. When I met him like very briefly, so like I did like my girlfriend got me into like a meet and greet with him, and I was wearing my Cooper School shirt, and like when he saw that, he immediately was like, "Oh my God, you're a student at Cooper School?" And he knew all about the school. I think he had visited once prior, and he was asking like, "Does this person still teach? Does this person still teach?" And it was just really cool. So that was a. Honestly, I really have not met anyone from the comic book industry, like any comic book professionals, that I have not just like really enjoyed meeting them. I've had no never meet your idol moment for comics yet.
That's good. Yeah.
Knock on wood. Like I'm sure it will come, but literally every single person I've met so far has been just like really, really nice.
Right. I've heard the opposite for some people. Like I've definitely heard bad experiences out. Because sometimes sometimes you just freeze up or you get nervous and you say something accidentally, insulting maybe, or they take it the wrong way, and you're like, I didn't mean it like that.
Yeah, no. Listen, I've definitely heard horror stories. Just I'm happy it hasn't happened yet to me. And I think I've met like basically the people that I would most want to meet. I've more or less met already. So it's not like like I've met Jim Lee and he was so nice. So if I met Jim Lee and if he was rude, it would have broke my heart. So have you met anyone that you've had, like, you don't have to like name them, but like anyone that you've had, like, have you ever had like a negative experience like that?
Oh yeah. Neil Adams.
No, Neil Adams. I've heard that about Neil Adams.
Right. Well, I just kind of put my foot in my mouth, on accident. But, I felt good because I'm like, okay, he's probably never going to remember me. And like, I've probably just a blip on his radar. He's met so many people at these cons. I was like, he's not going to remember me. So it was in 2016, I think. It was maybe the first time I met him. And at this con, Stan Lee was also there. That's important to this story. So I see Neil Adams. I ask him, I was like, oh, Neil Adams, can I have a picture with you or something like that? And he's like, I could tell he's like wanting to say no. And he kind of like looks over at his table and he has a sign that's like photographs $20. So I was like,
God.
And I was a kid. I was like, I don't have $20. So I didn't get my photograph. And he was like, hey, if you think that's too much, go see how much Stan Lee's charging.
Wow,
So
that $20, that's steep for a photo. I guess if you really don't want to take photos with people, that's what you gotta do.
yeah, well, I mean, and also like he's not a celebrity. I mean, it's not like you're gonna be able to show this picture off to many people, and they're gonna be like, oh my gosh, that's Neil Adams. It's only gonna be a flex to like your comic book friends.
Yeah, I mean,
It's not the same as like a movie celebrity.
yeah, I mean, honestly, I can't think of any movie celebrity that I would pay $20 for to get a photo with.
Oh, $20 is
just
nothing for like a celeb photo op. Like if you're meeting like one of the Marvel guys, or yeah, I've been to a lot of cons with like the Star Trek cast.
See, that's interesting. That's not something I've ever like sought out, because I know, like, I living in New Jersey, I've gone to New York Comic Con a million times, and there's always that like basement section with all like the big celebrities for the photo ops, and I just like I've never been interested in like even looking at like the prices for it. I'm just like, it's not something I value, like having those kind of like collectible photographs. But I know people that really like doing that. I have one friend that, like you said, like the Marvel guys, he has like a photo with like almost every original Avenger, and he'll wait. Like he told me one time, like he waited like 4 hours to meet like Chris Evans, which is like, man, that's a long time.
Yeah, you're waiting when you could be like looking around the convention. You're also paying a lot, so it's like paying twice almost.
Yeah,
because you paid the entry to the convention, and now you're standing in line for the entire convention. So
yeah, did you ever do any of those like photo things? Have you ever like had any pictures with any celebrities, or who would you get one from if given the opportunity?
Oh man, I don't know. I don't think I've ever paid. I've done it at like concerts before, like meet the band, like behind the scenes. Like when I was a kid, my mom paid so I could like see my favorite band and get their autograph or whatever. But I've never done it at like a Comic-Con. I'm not sure what celebrity I would, if I even care to meet, like, because they're just regular people. I mean, it's not like you're meeting the character.
I always thought that was weird. Like, it must be so weird to be. That's like a nice thing about comics, where like you could be like famous as like a comic book artist without like anyone ever recognizing you outside of a convention.
Right.
Like I literally cannot imagine the hellscape it would be to like not be able to like leave your house without people like following you. Like that is a curse. No way I understand that.
Oh yeah, and especially if you're like an A-lister or like a huge name. Like it's one thing to be like on a CW show, and it's another thing to be like Tom Cruise or something.
Yeah, man, I don't know. It's like that's such like a lifestyle that like how many people can actually say they have that type of lifestyle? That is a weird one, very weird.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't react well to it. Like people always like filming you in public, like even when you're not aware, they're like just like constantly asking you for photos and like recording you while you're eating at a restaurant.
Yeah, and listen, man, my ego gets big when I get like 100 likes on an Instagram post. I can't imagine. I'd be losing I'd be intolerable if that was me being asked for selfies and stuff.
Anyways, we better start wrapping it up. I think our half hour is over.
Okay.
All right. Well, it was nice talking to you, and I'll have you back on the channel sometime soon. Maybe get you and Bobby on here at the same time.
Yeah, I think that's like the real podcast that like the viewers will be waiting for. Maybe we can re-spark our Superman debate.
Oh yeah, Nasira mentioned
Yeah,
that.
like a take two.
Okay, well, I'll be preparing for it. I'll be gathering notes. I'll talk to you later.
All right, sounds good.
See you. Bye.